Hello, my name is Henry Winfrey, and welcome to my presentation about killing the penny before it kills us. Now, before I begin, I want you to picture that jar of change in your room. All of those pennies, nickels, and dimes just lying there. They're worth rotting away because they aren't worth the time or effort to try to sort them out or glean any value from them. Or maybe think about the last time you were out and about, outside, looking down at the pavement of the parking lot or the sidewalk, seeing countless pennies just lying there, taking up space, dirtying our environment. Hundreds and hundreds of them just discarded by people because they aren't worth it. Now, I am no economist, but I have experienced firsthand the devaluation of pennies over time. I remember as a kid I would collect them because one day I might have enough to actually get something out of it. But nowadays, I just throw them away. They aren't worth it anymore. Now, I know the issue of decirculating the penny probably isn't the most pressing issue on your mind right now. However, I firmly believe that instigating such simple economic change in our government could easily pave the way for greater, more important social change later on. That is why today I will persuade you to petition to your local government to start the change of decirculating the U.S. penny. So first, let's talk about why we need to decirculate the penny. What's so bad about pennies? Well, they cause extreme economic losses. As Aaron Klein, the former Assistant Secretary to the U.S. Treasury, put it back in November 16th of 2021, we have incurred $1.78 billion in losses because of the continuation of the circulation of the U.S. penny. Also, the penny will save serious time. Think about the last time you had a transaction where you used cash. Think about how long you waited to get your change back. Also, the Federal Reserve Bank of Minneapolis points out the president of the Haypenny, how back in 1857, the Haypenny was worth 14 cents in today's money, and it was decirculated. According to that president, we should be decirculating the dime and nickel too. However, I think the penny is a better place to start. Another extreme reason why we should decirculate the penny is the extreme environmental losses it causes. Josh Bloom of the American Council on Science and Health points out that 1.7 million pounds of carbon dioxide are put out. This is as of July 16th of 2021. It also causes very, very visible litter. Like I mentioned earlier, last time you were outside, you probably saw some of these reflecting some sunlight, kind of making the area a little bit more ugly than it needs to be. Well, have you ever thought about the pennies that we don't see? The pennies that have already been integrated too far into our ecosystems and have already harmed plants and animals. It's clear that we need to decirculate the penny. But what is the first step? Now, let me be the first to admit that the path to bringing about the death to pennies won't be super easy. However, there are some basic steps that we can take. You can tell your friends or post about it online. Joining a petition such as the ones on change.org is also a great way to bring about change. However, there are some more complex, more effective ways we could instigate this change. And that's petitioning to your local government, sending them an email or giving them a phone call, especially bringing about the point that Mike Unser brings up from CoinNews.net, that as of 2020, February 22nd, it costs 2 cents to make 1 penny. Therefore, it is in the federal mint's best interest to stop the production of pennies. They're running at a loss, and they would save a lot more money on their budget if they got rid of the penny altogether. So, if you aren't already convinced, let me help you visualize what this change would look like. Now, obviously, there are a lot of opponents to my argument. People saying that such large-scale change would be almost impossible to implement. How cash registers would have to update themselves onto how to round up to the nearest 5. Well, those changes are possible, it would just take a long time, which is why I propose that this change be a long-term change. The full decirculation might not happen until 5 years from now. And after all, there are a lot of negative effects to dissipate. All of that money and all of that carbon emissions don't just go away overnight. I propose a plan for the federals to use to repurpose the pennies in a way. There should be some sort of collection program, maybe with an incentive to turn in pennies. Pennies themselves, after all, haven't lost any value physically. They're still made of zinc and a little bit of copper, and are worth plenty, that 2 cents. However, in the economy, they aren't worth anything. So therefore, the federals should collect them, maybe melt down the metals and turn them into more valuable coins, such as the $50 or $1 coin. I am urging you to petition to your local government to convince Congress about the importance of decirculating the penny. It's important to remember the main points about how pennies cause major economic devastation and cause large environmental losses, and how through some simple petitioning we can bring about this change. You can stop contributing to environmental damage, stop hurting your finances, and finally get rid of all those pennies littering your house. After all, it's the only thing that makes sense.